Welcome to Software Leaders Uncensored with Steve Taplin. Welcome to Software Leaders Uncensored. I'm your host, Steve Taplin, 25 years serial tech entrepreneur. My new book, Fail Hard, Win Big, comes out this month. I'm excited about this. This is my life story of being a serial entrepreneur, having 30 ventures, 20 failures, and 10 wins. The common element of all of my ventures has been always building custom software to create better operations, a unique client experience to increase enterprise value. And I'm also the CEO of Sonatify Technology. We are a nearshore custom software development company. Today, we are joined by Rob Riggs out of Atlanta, Georgia. This is going to be a fun one. Just to set the tone here, as Rob and I have been chatting here. Rob has been a senior engineer, CTO. He's a speaker. He's on many boards out of Atlanta, Georgia. Rob, welcome.
Thanks so much for having me, Steve.
You got me all choked up, Rob. While I'm choking here, if you would, give our listeners an overview of your career.
Sure. So I started in tech before the internet was around like it is today. The projects right out of school, a couple years out of college, pulled into an IT department and quickly saw some opportunities that were just opportunity for user experience to be improved. So I was building software platforms that help for a clothing manufacturer that helped their customer service reps understand kind of the status of their overseas orders and where they were in shipment and orders that they had in progress from Target, Walmart, and Kmart, et cetera. And that just birthed in me the desire to really build tools that were used by teams. And so I started this company in 2009. And it's been a whirlwind ever since.
So Code Conspirators, tell everybody what you guys do.
Sure. Okay. So we started as a dev shop. That's where my background is, obviously. My initial goal was to hire overseas developers to solve a specific problem I got stuck on, and then learn kind of how they were solving, deepen my understanding of code. And the real opportunity I found was that I was a lot better of a visionary than I was a coder, a doer. And so more and more I hired. We grew the organization a bit. We had too many acquisitions. Too many as in small, not too many as in, well, that's way too many. But the two acquisitions over the time period, so that expanded our reach from just dev into marketing, some search, some social, things like that, which was a natural fit of now that we built this thing, how do we get eyeballs on it? And here we are 15, 16 years later. We're a team of 20. 8 or so in the U.S. and then others, elsewhere. And so we've got team members that have been with us for 10 plus years. Is some of the lifeblood, lifelong friends, but new people coming on. And I'm excited to see kind of where the company is going and growing.
Cool. Tell us about some fun projects you're working on.
So some of my favorite recent projects are kind of in the realm of software where the integrations are coming into play, and some of my personal. So I'll start there. We built an application for a financial advisor. And most financial advisors, they advise their clients to be super conservative, put everything you can away from the future because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And our client takes a little bit of a different approach because he's more along the lines of die with zero, plan ahead what you want to leave as your legacy to your children, but really there's no point in saving for a day where you're too old to enjoy it. So he helps people plan for major expenses, plan for and investing in a way that helps people spend more time with family, travel more, buy the hot rod that they're always wanted to drive, while still planning for, Jenny's going to need a car when she graduates college, and I've got an air conditioner that's going to need replaced in 3 years. So it's a beautiful balance. And by the software
your
piece,
software
go ahead, yeah.
You built does it all for them. I love it. Or it helps guide.
It helps guide for sure.
Okay.
And then with AI on the forefront now, it's opened a ton of opportunities here that we wouldn't have had 3-5 years ago.
Gotcha. So talk to us about your engineering team. You mentioned you were a coder, but you found you're better as the visionary around it. Talk about your model of how you structure your team. And you mentioned you have US based and offshore based. Tell us about it.
Right, for sure. So yeah, so most of our strategists are US based, and then a lot of our dev team, we get better for better rates overseas. So India, Pakistan, Philippines is where a bulk of our development teams are. We do have a handful stateside again, but where we're looking to scale. Or when we're looking to scale, that's where we'll gravitate to, because we just get so much more. We're a blend between a waterfall and agile, depending on the product that we're building or the stage that we're in. And then I'd say we have just a stellar project manager. He's out of Colorado, and I'd be completely lost without him.
So no doubt there's talented software resources around the world. How do you manage the time zone differences of having key resources in India, Pakistan, Philippines? How does your team go about managing those time differences?
Yeah, fair. And great question. This has been something that we have landed on over the years. We've come to, we don't need everybody to work Eastern Standard Time, but we want a little bit of overlap. And so for India, Pakistan, we've got 3-4 hours where they're working a little late their time, but then they're off by noon Eastern. And that gives us time to catch up for a daily stand-up. Where are we? How do we, how is this moving? What problems, exist that we need to jump in together and try to solve? And so that's kind of helped us keep our camaraderie. It's because we're not in person and we don't get the knock on the door. Hey, you got a minute? That helps kind of build some rapport. But we have our weekly all hands, and then just the ad hoc come get me anytime you run into trouble. That has built such a great rapport with the team, and it's great to see.
Gotcha. So what's your ideal tech stack? If you had a client come to you with a project and said, whatever you think's best, what's your ideal tech stack?
I will gravitate to a LAMP stack with Laravel framework. We can fly with that, pretty quickly. Laravel is a framework. It has some of the pieces, the common elements already built in that are common to all software platforms now. But we do have a .NET team, and so we can swing that way when we have a client right now that is solidly in the Microsoft and Azure camp, and so we have that expertise where needed. But I'm just a PhD guy at heart. Open source gives us the opportunity to bring a lot more value for a lower cost.
Gotcha. So I think no matter what industry a tech leader's in, everybody's facing similar challenges. What would you describe your biggest challenges today?
Man, I think right now the perception that I can pick up an AI tool, ChatGPT or Replit or Lovable or Cursor or something like that, and have a fully functioning app in a couple weeks. And I think those are great starting points. And we've got a methodology for leveraging some of those to help accomplish more quickly. But it's without somebody who can actually jump into code and fix things. AI is great and it's completely changed the game. And today is the worst that it's ever going to be, right? But the challenge is that it's brought the barrier to entry super low, and anybody thinks they can do things, and then they get stuck. Oftentimes they wasted weeks and weeks trying to fix things. But if they had a side partner in that, they would have accomplished more, launched on time, etc.
I'll give my opinion on that. Certainly AI is great for prototypes, vibe coding, which is, a big buzzword today, ability to, put together something innovative quickly. But the reality of all those things is they don't scale. So
Right.
it's great for getting to proof of concepts quickly. And then there's AI that can help you be more efficient. But I'm still betting that in my lifetime, AI is not going to replace software engineers. I think the roles
Right.
are shifting. Zuckerberg from Meta, probably 2 months ago, made a prediction that within 5 years, 60% of his engineering team will be gone because they won't be needed.
Yeah.
I call bullshit. I
Uh-huh.
call bullshit. I think it's changing the game. I think things like testing and documentation, there's some efficiencies to be had. But I do think that developer roles will evolve and there'll be new roles created. But I'm a betting man, and I don't think it's going to get rid of developers in my lifetime.
When we see what we can accomplish with somebody's 40 hours of time, we're just going to want to accomplish more a day. We're not going to shed, 60% of the workforce. We're just going to expect to accomplish 60% more, I'd say.
We definitely have projects that if it was 2 years ago, if we were going to bid a team of like 9 developers for a fully managed project, fast forward with the efficiencies of tools like Cursor or Windsurf. And I'm talking about real development, not prototype, not putting up a non-scalable MVP, where we'd see if it was a team we may have needed 9, we could probably do it with 5 or 6 people now, is kind of the efficiencies we've seen. What about you?
Same. It's especially in the beginning stages, the rapid prototyping is such a good starting point. If we jump into Lovable, we can have a completely workable, applicable environment, MVP. But it's not, to your point, it's not scalable for actual production. And so that.
Well, and I'm always coaching founders who may not be that tech savvy that you want to prototype first for your proof of concept. You don't want to go build out a full MVP as it's going to evolve. And you got to take it in stages. That's at least what I've seen. Well, so let's switch gears. So Rob, if you have a friend or a family member, a young person who wants to be a CTO, that's their career goal. What advice would you give them? Run, don't do it.
Don't do it, for the love of Pete. Yeah, no, so education, number one, not only, in school, but constant re-education, because the industry is changing more quickly than ever. I would focus on something very specific, and the more specific niche you can carve out, the more oftentimes the more demand you'll be able to have. And so if it is security is hot right now, AI obviously hot, but having the technical chops to know how to do things manually is going to be such a good foundation as well. When AI comes for your job, it's going to be a lot harder to replace that person.
Gotcha. So what's one brutal lesson you wish you would have learned earlier in your career? As you've been a CTO, a founder, a consultant, what's a brutal lesson that you couldn't learn in a book or in a classroom? You had to learn from the school of hard knocks.
My biggest lesson probably has less to do with technology and more to do with people.
Okay.
But it's have the difficult conversations earlier, and let go of people who are obviously not serving the organization earlier. And so I've had a few people that I've just held on to too long, because I thought, the company can't survive without them. They know where their bodies are buried, et cetera. But what I found was that they were as much a drain on the team as they were on the company as a whole, and on me personally. But letting them go, the team was relieved. And they were able to pick up the pieces and run like I did not expect.
Gotcha. You gotta cut those things quick, or they spread and they have its effect on everybody.
For sure.
Rob,
yeah.
As part of your expertise, you are a digital strategist. What's some key nuggets of marketing and digital strategy as in 2025 that you're seeing are are key for the market. What do you see are the top things that companies can do to make sure people find them, whether it's their software, whether it's their business?
Yeah. The biggest thing I'm neck deep in right now is the visibility, like being available and visible wherever the audience is. So I have a small five person SEO marketing team, I guess. And so a piece of that is SEO, it's search optimization. But with the advent of AI, that has completely shifted how business
SEO
is found.
Changing quite a bit.
So Google has kind of played their hand over the past year or two, but they've been trying to keep people from having to go to sites that don't perform well, or that kind of optimize a way that may not deliver. And so they've put together AI summaries so that somebody doesn't have to click to go to a website anymore. The answers are right there in context, and that's broadened from Google to YouTube, the number 2 search engine, and other. SEO now stands for search everywhere, optimization. So we're trying to help our clients understand the importance of, it doesn't matter where you are ranked in Google now. SERPs are not what they used to be, because there are so many other ways for people to solve the need that they're searching for. And so you've got to get out where your audience is. So I'd say, number one is being informed about where your audience hangs out and how to get in front of them without, blowing your budget.
So, and that's definitely a hot topic. I mean, most companies out there that have been big on SEO have probably seen a 15 to 20% reduction based on the AI results taken over. So what do companies need to do to show up in the LLMs like ChatGPT or others outside of the traditional SEO tactics that companies have relied on for the past probably 15, 20 years?
Yeah, that's the big question, I'd say. But at the end of the day, good content is still going to be picked up, and that's always been the game. No matter how somebody tries to game the system, they'll always be found out, whether it's Google or YouTube or Yahoo or whatever. The good content is always going to bubble up to the top, and then that's really what it takes. And I like what you're doing with being creative with podcasts and getting content that people are looking for to build relationships, to build visibility. You're doing a good thing, and that's a solid approach now for getting out in front of your audience, pushing that out to areas where they can digest wherever they may be, on the phone, on the way to on their commute, waiting in line to pick up their kids from school. Making that content available wherever they are is such a huge advantage.
And I'm aging myself here with this comment, but earlier in my career, I used to host radio shows on entrepreneurship, on investing. And so this has been a fun venture back to that world in the updated format of podcasting, because from 6 to 2011, I hosted radio shows in both Arizona and California, and it was a great way to get out to my target audience. I was told I had a face for radio. Now podcasts kind of screwed that up.
There you go. Sure.
So this has been me adapting to the current environment after a 14-year hiatus.
Wow. Yeah. That shows you kind of the natural progression of technology just becoming more and more accessible, because now you're doing on a laptop what when you started 15 years ago, 20 years ago, you had to have this big studio, all the hardware, all the equipment. It was very expensive. Now you're able to do for a couple $1,000s. That's huge.
Yep. The game has definitely changed, and all of us always have to adapt or we die, or we win the lottery.
Adapt or die.
One of the three.
Right.
Rob,
For sure.
thank you. Thank you so much for getting uncensored with us today. Great, unique perspective you bring to the table. Any final advice you have for tech and business leaders out there on how to thrive and overcome challenges here in 2025?
Just my biggest takeaway is just don't ignore the technology advancements. AI is here to stay, and it's become cliche now. It's not that AI is going to replace us, but the people who know how to use AI will replace us. But those that stick around are going to learn how to use AI as a tool to accomplish more. And those who don't are going to be surpassed by those who do.
I think that's a great quote. AI is not going to replace us. Those who take advantage of AI will. I think that's a great way to put it. Rob, thank you so much. That's it for this episode of Software Leaders Uncensored. Thank you, everybody. I'm Steve Taplin. Stay bold and keep building. That's a wrap. Another great episode of Software Leaders Uncensored. Thank you guys so much for listening. I really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun doing this show. I love talking with great tech leaders. As a side note, if you're interested, check out my new book, Fail Hard, Win Big. This is the story of how I built 30 companies, failed on 20, and turned 10 into multi-million-dollar wins. The common thread with all of them was custom software. Also, if you need software development help out there, my company, Sonatify Technology, we deliver world-class software development engineers out of Latin America. We have a solid track record of helping companies launch better products and faster. Thanks again for listening. Appreciate it and appreciate you.